Good morning.
What's up?
Yeah, how's everybody doing today?
Woo, doing
Sunday
good.
morning.
Who's this we have next to me? Who this? That's not Steve.
That is not Steve. That is our good buddy Mason from Comics
Ah,
and Crosses, hanging out with us today, guest
What up?
hosting. Mason, how you doing, buddy?
Good, man. I'm glad to be here. I'm happy to be in the saddle riding with Casa de Nerds, and yeah, man, it's gonna be a fun time. I'm down to talk some books.
Absolutely. Mason, do you want to tell the audience a little bit about yourself, what you do, your channel, all that good stuff?
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, my name's Mason, as you can see, and yeah, my channel is Comics and Crosses, and the way I put it is I talk about the eternal truths behind our modern mythology, and so it was just kind of something fun that I started up, and I like to look for kind of the deeper themes and messages and tie them back to Christian ideas and stuff like that in comics, because there's a lot about life, afterlife, souls, and all kinds of stuff in comics, as you guys probably know. And yeah, and with that said, I wouldn't put it as I have a Christian channel or anything like that. I'd say that I have the #1 Christian channel talking about non-Christian content on the webs, on the interwebs. So,
yeah. That's pretty fitting. I mean, like, I've watched your stuff, Mason, and I'm pretty not religious myself, but like I love watching your videos because, again, like, you don't just make it about only the Christian perspective. That's more lens you use to just explore all these different things going on in comics, like you saw these themes. So yeah, y'all, if you haven't seen his channel, check him out on Comics and Crosses because he has some really great stuff there, really great discussions.
Absolutely, I co-sign that, man. You know, we love your channel, Mason, and we encourage everybody to go check it out. And you know what? We're actually going to give you a little behind the scenes.
Oh, are we gonna share that trivia?
We're gonna share a little bit of trivia for you
like
guys.
it.
So back when we started the House of Nerd show, we were in the planning stages. Our good buddy Mason was actually going to be one of the original four crew members.
Yes.
it's true. It's true.
He was one of the original 4. So if you guys think the House of Nerd was an original 3, it was technically an original 4.
Should have been 4.
Yeah.
We're happy to have Mason with us hanging out today.
Yeah, we're sorry to see Steve go, but you know, me is,
You know, we were tired of, having that straight white cis man's voice the entire show. We needed a break.
Yeah,
and
they
I
called
like
it
it
the
because
alternate.
now the power of
Exactly.
has shifted. We got 2 Latinos on the show now. I was outnumbered before, but we're switching it up a little bit today, guys.
It's okay. I'm still outnumbered as a woman. What's new? No.
We love it. We love it. No,
You're
just
used to it.
with
It's
you guys.
okay.
Yep.
So we got a good show planned for you today, guys. We got our week in review where we're talking about the hottest books out this week. Second segment, we got something that we like to call the one that got away. I'll explain that when we get to that. And then our main discussion for the week will be the resurgence of vampires in comics, man.
Yes. If there are any vampires in the audience, please let me know. You are my peers.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
absolutely.
be sure to wear your blue light filters, vampires. 'Cause I know it's dark where you're at right now. It's daytime, so
Make sure your curtains are tight. No sunlight's getting through, please. No deaths. No deaths.
And then we got our copper drop, where we're going to be discussing OBE #1. You guys already know I'm a big fan of the book. So we're going to see what Lauren and Mason's thoughts are on it. And we're going to bring you, just the straight, honest facts about that. And then to wrap it all up, guys, we have another guest announcement at the end of the show.
Very excited about this one. And I think everybody is going to be because they are somebody that's working on a book that everybody loves right now. So it's going to be great.
Yeah. So we're hyped. We're excited to announce that. But yeah, so let's kick off the show. Week in review. I'm gonna start it off, guys. Just quickly, kind of show you the books that I picked up this week. Something is Killing the Children, Volume 3. You already know this is a monster hit for a reason. So when I pick up my single issue floppies, I don't read them. I've been trade waiting, right? So I'm happy to finally dig into that. Third arc, heard nothing but good stuff. Freak Snow, or excuse me, Freak Snow #1. This is from Happy Tank Comics. I guess they're like a subsidiary of Behemoth Comics. And I haven't had the chance to read this one yet, but I've heard good things. I'm looking forward to checking this one out. Got some pretty cool interior art. So looking to sharing my thoughts on that one later on in the week. Maniac of New York #5. First arc has wrapped up. Pretty good stuff, about what you would expect. It's a hack slash genre book. It was cool, but if I'm being honest, by the end of this arc, I was ready to get off the train, so to speak. But I definitely I recommend it still. It's just a fun hack slash gory type book. Top 3 books of the week, though, guys. Top 3 books. #3 for me, Geiger. Geiger #3. It was good. Jeff
Yeah.
Johns.
What is this about? Because I've seen people post about it, but I don't really know anything about it.
Yeah, so it's a post-apocalyptic scenario where
Another one of those, huh?
yeah,
We're so low on those.
So you got a bit of like a nuclear fallout, nuclear war. It's set in the Las Vegas area, and you've got the main character Geiger, who somehow he's kind of like absorbed these nuclear powers. So it's about him, the survival of the inhabitants of Las Vegas.
So is he like a skeleton Hulk? Because that's kind of what he looks like here. He
kind of looks like Skeletor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So his powers, like they go off and on. So he normally looks like that in the book, and then when he activates his powers, he switches to that cool ass glowing guy in a hooded
radioactive man.
Yeah, radioactive man.
That would be quite the cosplay for somebody to do all that light.
Oh,
that'd be pretty cool.
Some LEDs, green lights all over you for the.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Cosplay. So for me, the strong suit on this book has got to be the art. Gary Frank is an absolute legend. I mean, you can take a look at that panel right there. I'm just stuck kind of staring at these interior pages. Absolutely love it. That's kind of the high point so far. Issue 3 didn't really move the story forward too much. But it was dope nonetheless. Like I said, big fan of Gary Frank's artwork. Check it out. And actually, it was just announced the other day that issue #3 is going to a second print. So I mean, it's a hot title for a reason. My #2 pick of the week, guys, Bunny Mask #1.
I've been hearing so much about this as a good horror book, and I'm still debating whether to pick it up or not.
Man, I gotta tell you, I read this. I don't know what the heck I read.
I mean, what the fuck? I mean, it's saying on the panel, so.
You got that kind of bunny cosplay licking an open.
What is with the licking?
Oh, I thought she was taking a chunk out of his leg. What the
No,
heck?
she's just
I'm telling you, but listen, the first page right off the bat, it sets the tone Lauren, I don't know if you're able to go back to the other interior page there. No, not that one. Yes.
That
So
one?
this is the first
Going
page.
too far.
This is the first page. What in the teeth chiseling fuck are we looking at here, guys?
Oh.
This was crazy.
What the fuck? Yeah,
yeah.
what's the bruh?
But I honestly, this was a dope number one, a dope issue.
So is this girl Bunny Mask?
We're not really sure yet who.
Oh, it's
Bunny
gotta
Mask
be
is.
with the whole teeth thing. It's gotta be.
So
Are her teeth
they're kind of
jacked up?
hinting at something, but we don't know. There's some mystery behind that. But so the artist is Andrea Muti, and he's also working on Maniac of New York. I really enjoy
Okay.
his artwork. It's got like a painted brush watercolor style.
Yeah.
To
What kills me here is that his face, just about he's about to do it, he's just like, oh, whatever, it's gotta be done. I don't give a shit. And he just chops it like,
He's like, yeah, I got 5 more of these today. Just
right. Just part of the job, man. 9 to 5.
dentist from hell, and then people wonder why nobody likes going to the dentist. So I mean, I know. I mean,
Well, thank God it's not that bad.
that gave me nightmares.
Yeah.
But really, I recommend this very much. Fantastic first issue. It gets right into it. And I was I was just reading. I was like, whoa, just crazy premise, crazy stuff. Pick that one up. My number one pick of the week, Carmen number 4. I cannot say enough great things about this book. Every week it comes out, it's my top pick for the week. Absolutely love and adore this book. It's just issue number 4 definitely it's moving the story forward, as did issue number 3. We get a bit more background. We're starting to understand exactly who Carmen is, and the whole kind of premise of karma and reincarnation, and Kata's story, her struggle to kind of understand the mistakes she's made in life and try not to repeat them in the next life. Just a fantastic book. I feel like at the end of the year, Carmen is definitely going to be in the conversation for top book of 2021. It's that good, guys. It's that good. Yeah.
That's some high praise.
Yeah, it's fantastic, man. Guillaume March, he writes and illustrates the book, and you can see there's so much detail in every page of this book. It's amazing. I love his choice of color palette. You got the muted kind of pastels throughout the book. My number one pick of the week, Carmen number 4. Everybody should be reading this book. It's that good, guys.
Wow.
Solid.
That's my haul for the week. I think we're gonna kick it off next to Lauren.
Yeah, I think you're right.
What did your haul look like? What did you pick up?
Yeah. So I'm going to show a couple quick things before I go into my pictures. So I've got some runner-ups. Only like 2 of those. X-Men 21 was good. It wasn't my favorite, but it had some good moments in it. I love this cover for Children of Adam. I know I retweeted Dragon Ranger's tweet about it. And I was like, you might be seeing this today because here it is. It's right here. I haven't been the most connected with the series, but I've enjoyed seeing perspective from the younger kids and things like that. So I continue to pick it up regardless. I got this. This is a last week book, but I picked it up physically because it's just so hilarious. So I have to mention again, Hellions, if you aren't reading this shit and you like sarcastic, dark, ridiculous, chaotic humor mixed in with chaos and action, you need to be reading Hellions. Like if you read any X-Men line, it's this one. It's just so fun. It's so chaotic. This is the Hellfire Gal issue to read if you want chaos at a mutant party. This is it. It was just such a joy, so I had to get it.
Cool.
What's a mutant
Yeah.
party without chaos, right?
truly, and I mean, yeah, like that's how I felt with the Marauders issues. They were lacking the Marauders and the X-Men. Those are lacking so much to me in the chaos and the silliness, and I just want more of that. That said, though, one of my top picks this week. Oh, wow, we went out of order. It's fine. Okay, so Excalibur. This is my number 3 pick, y'all. I don't even read Excalibur normally. But that said, once I heard what was happening in it, I went to the shop and picked up a copy physically because it's just so fun. Again, more of the chaos, more of the romances, possibly. Who knows they're happening behind the scenes. It was just a good read. There's some serious stuff in it too, but it had more of the stuff I wanted from a Hellfire Gala issue. This cover, Betsy. I wasn't a fan of this outfit first, but it's kind of growing on me the more I see it, and I don't know why.
Yeah, it's very like Hunger Games.
Yeah, it's not.
Sure.
Yeah, it's not my type, but it's growing on me, and I think part of it is because she has a scene with a particular character in this book that I don't want to say because it's a spoiler, but there's a reason a lot of us are shipping her and a certain someone now because of a scene in this book. So it's over for us. The Rogue cover, this was a 1 in 50 design variant. My sibling got it. They got there at 8 a.m. at our shop to make sure they got it. But Rogue looks fucking amazing. Like, where can you go wrong? Where can you go wrong?
And I just kind of want to throw this in there, speaking of the Hellfire Gala, if you guys haven't already checked out Lauren's and Steve's that they put out earlier in the week, guys, check it out. Fantastic stuff. I didn't know that they were putting out the
thing. We were just like, we're going to do something with the Hellfire Gala. He said, okay, great.
So the Hellfire Gala has a red carpet, and Lauren and Steve did it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely, man.
Yep. Well, we hired Janice Grant and CJ to do it. The two that look just like us. I don't know how that happened. How they look like us, guys. What the hell?
So check it out if you haven't already. It'll be upload in our uploaded bits section.
It was a lot of fun. And
I was crying. I was in stitches.
We're hoping to do it again because, we definitely have stuff to talk about with this Excalibur issue, once it's not as spoilerly. That said, awesome. Here's one panel Marvel released. I didn't feel bad about sharing because Marvel released it before the issue. But yeah, it's just a lot of fun, guys. I know a lot of people are into tie-ins and stuff, but the Hellfire Gala is just fun. So if you're an X-Men fan and you just like seeing what they're going up to, this is definitely worth reading.
And Lauren, you and Steve got fans enjoying that content you put out. So definitely we need to see a sequel.
All right. Well, we're thinking about we still have to talk with Jance and CJ about, but we were thinking of trying to get some correspondence to give us more intel. How we talked about we had insiders on the episode. They talked about that. We were trying to see if we can get some to come on screen. So if any of y'all watching are interested in being an insider for us, let us know because we'll definitely see if we can do that for y'all. But
it's not that hard to be an insider. If you ever watch the news, something's going down. They always got somebody who's in no way connected going, yeah, I think based on what I know, this is what could possibly be going on.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good chance. Yeah, good chance if you're an X-Men fan just to come in and do something silly. It's a lot of fun, so we'd love to bring more people in. That said, though, I don't only read X-Men. Don't worry. My next pick is Eve, number 2. This is the B variant. And this is something Sergio wanted us to read, but we said no to, and so he's been holding a grudge. And rightfully so, because this is so good.
It's fantastic. Yeah. How good is it? And I don't know how. So I picked up Eve. I picked up Eve number 2. I actually picked up the 1 in 10, the Virgin incentive of this cover. But I missed it for my readings in preparation for the show. So I missed it. I have a feeling it would have been in my top 3 picks. Lauren, what were your thoughts on issue number 2?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, so here's the thing. It's hard for me to talk about even say it's the most amazing thing I read because a lot of the things that like I think us as fans want any book to make amazing, like shock value, like big crazy stuff, big themes, crazy dialogue. None of that's really there in terms of those things, but the art is amazing. The story is great. It is solid. It is relatable. It's great to see. It's just great to see it from a younger character's lens too, because it's another dystopian book, right? We talked about that earlier. But it's nice to see it through a kid's lens and not just, like Zombieland where they're just shooting everybody, having to act as tough as the adults, but having a balance of that. Because Eve, she can survive and she's learning how to take care of herself, but at the same time, she still has that natural innocence that kind of gets lost. She still has it, which is great to see. And spoiler alert, but the first issue is already out. The bear talks, and it's great. And that's what I was looking for, if you remember from previous episodes. So, it's a very enjoyable read. I can't recommend it enough in terms of if you just want a great read that really makes you think a bit, but overall just leaves you feeling like, wow, that was worth it. Definitely get it.
So would you say if anybody here was a fan of like that movie with Will Smith and his kid, where they're like traveling through some dystopian world, and Ted with Mark Wahlberg, this would be the perfect combo story for them?
So here's the thing. I would say yes if the bear was more comedic. He is not very comedic, though. That's not to say he's not enjoyable. Yeah, but he's not sitting around, telling jokes all the time, trying to be the icebreaker. He's telling it how it is, and he's also not just a bear. But I'm not gonna say more than that because that's a little too spoilery. But yeah. So it's I can't really say fans of Ted should read this, but fans of the more of the Will Smith family movies with his kid and stuff. Yeah, for sure that. But if you're looking for dark humor and the cussing like Ted, that's not here, and it shouldn't be. It doesn't fit the theme of the book. So.
But if the reason you like Ted was because the bear talked, then
yes, if you want a talking bear like I did, yes.
After Earth, okay, that's it.
So Lauren, what is your top pick of the week?
I think a lot of people aren't going to be surprised by this, and they're going to think I picked it just because, gay. But I actually picked it because it kind of blew me away in a couple of the stories. DC Pride, that is my number one for this week.
Nice.
Yeah, not only because of all the gay. I mean, let's be real, I'm here for it. That's why I won in the first place. But there was some stuff that actually did blow me away in terms of the storytelling for characters that we've missed that haven't really had the spotlight for a while. It's been really nice. So this was a pinup in it, and I'm a sucker for seeing actually buff women, as well as all different kinds of women. You got more of a femme one there, you got the big buff one there, you've got the other one there. It's just really cool to see. In terms of just people looking different.
Yeah, for sure.
So I enjoyed that. Yeah.
They're all like little mini stories, yeah?
Yes. Yeah. Yep, they're little anthologies. This is from the Justice League Queer one. So it kind of shows you a bunch here. It's really nice just to see that. I'm still not sure how I feel about Justice League Queer as a title because it's kind of just like in your face and not in the most enjoyable way to me, but I also don't see any problem with it. It's like, look, they're the queer ones, great. I would just like to see more queer people in the regular teams, like the Justice League. I want to see more normalized. But regardless, this was still really great. I love the Dreamer story. I know so many of us, in the LGBTQ plus community, we're so excited about it. This is Nicole Maines, who plays Dreamer on the show Supergirl. She did write it, and this is Dreamer's first appearance as she is on Supergirl. So really fun just to see that. And Nicole did such a good job. And I was actually surprised because I thought she would have a co-writer credit on the page, but she's actually given sole credit for the story, which is really cool. So great for her. Yeah, nice to see actors that can write too and that like their characters and know them so well they can do it. I will say this panel right here caught me off guard. This was the first page of the story. And when Supergirl says, so is date night still on for tonight? I was like, wait a second. Are we putting Supergirl with Dreamer? Because I have questions then. But no, in this, it's with the CW show canon, so Dreamer's with Brainy.
Okay. I like that art. The interiors are nice.
Yeah, the colors are great. The neons
Yeah.
are definitely up your alley, Serge.
Oh, for sure.
So
Sweet.
yeah, I think you have enjoyed it. I really liked the Andy Curry, who is Aqua Girl, Aqua Woman, with Jesse Quick, who is Flash from Future State. They had a story together, and it was nice to see that so many of us were right to want to ship them together after the Justice League line of Future State, because they are a couple and they're very cute. And I was very surprised by how much I liked them, because at first I was like, yeah, it's great, they'll be cute together, but whatever. But it kind of sold me on how they actually can work as a couple. So that was very, very enjoyable. And here it's hilarious how, you know, Andy's chewing Jesse out for, oh yeah, Flash is, you're so fast, but you're always fucking late. Like,
It's the life story of any Flash, right?
right.
So,
You have all the time in the world, and yet somehow
Yeah.
you're still fucking late.
yeah.
I gotta say, my favorite story was Renee Montoya's as the Question. So it's nice to see, because they took that out of DC canon as her as a Question for a long time, and now we're starting to see it again. And after reading the other history of the DC universe with her story that came out a couple weeks ago, and now reading this, I gotta say, I'm sold on Renee. Like, I fucking love this woman. It's nice to see a woman who is a bit more like a, you know, like how, you know, men that have had tough luck, they cheated on their wives, but they didn't mean to. Kind of like Oliver Queen on the show Arrow, not in the comics, but on the show Arrow, where he just can't have any luck, but he means to be well. Renee's kind of like that. She's very unlikable in a lot of ways. But yeah, so it's nice to see an unlikable character that you still can like.
Was she introduced on the animated series back in the day? Do you guys know?
I'm not sure when she was first introduced.
I feel like she was one of those characters that actually came from the Batman series that I loved growing up. But yeah, it's cool to see her develop and kind of be around and go in different places.
Yeah. I think she's been around for a while before. I'm pretty sure before the animated series stuff.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I'd have to check. Also, I want to make a quick correction while I was talking about the MB Flash earlier. I said Jesse, it's Jess. I mixed Jess up with Jesse Quick, so my bad on that. But yeah, Renee, I love seeing these characters get their spotlight. I really hope they're able to get more of their own books.
Cool. Nice.
So yeah, that would be it for me.
Top pick, DC Pride. Love it.
Yep.
Mason, we want to hear all about your haul. What were your top books this week, buddy?
Yeah, so I got some good reads this week. Let's see what I also picked up Geiger and was reading that one with you. So this one didn't make my top 3, but I think it was a great solid progression in the story. I mean, Jeff Johns, some people are not happy with him right now, but you know, he wrote some great runs like JSA. That was incredible. When he took over and kind of expanded the Green Lantern universe big time. You know, definitely some stuff there that sticks with me and some solid stories behind him. I'm really enjoying Strange Academy. So
nice.
I don't know if you guys are reading this one, but it's just fun. It's just all these characters. And you know what? I mean, DC's trying to do the same thing with Teen Titans Academy. And I feel like Marvel is executing much better. This
that's what I've been hearing, because I read Titans Academy and I dropped it because I just wasn't worth it. So
yeah. Wow.
You know, it just, I mean, I don't know. I think the characters are just immediately have more flair here. They're just more interesting, engaging. They pull you in. But yeah, so I'm digging that series. Issue 11. So the story keeps growing. Here's another good one that could have, but maybe didn't quite make my top 3, was Spider-Man: Spider Shadow.
Yes.
Yeah. So Chip Zdarsky. I mean, I've been loving Daredevil for a while, and then he's coming out with some cool stuff. I mean, this is a what if story. So I think, you know, it's interesting if you know Spider-Man's history and how he gave up the black suit, and then exploring what could have happened, and then these other kind of snowball situations. You know, it's like I think the only thing that kept it out of my top 3 was that it's a what if. So it kind of feels like, okay, this is interesting, but you know, this is not really what's happening. So, but it's executed really well. I mean, I'm always loving
Yeah,
this stuff.
I mean, it was in my top three, I think, the last two issues, or at least the second one was. But now I feel like it's kind of lost its momentum because the first two issues were so kind of shock value in terms of like, whoa, like this would never happen, but it's happening here. This is
Yeah.
wild. And now it's kind of evening out. So it's kind of losing it for me a bit, but I'm enjoying it too.
Yeah, yeah. So that's a good one. And then Detective Comics. I pick up Detective along with Batman, and so this one has been. I've been enjoying this storyline. It's a little different. We see kind of Bruce low on. He's kind of lost his fortune. Spoiler warning. I don't know if you're not caught up in Batman, but right now in the Batman world, he's I think they did this with Iron Man too. He's kind of lost a lot of his fortune after Joker War. And so, but he's still, he's still affluent and whatever, rich people are never really broke, what I mean? So he's like,
they find a way.
It's showing him kind of in his place in Gotham society, high society. Right. And then there's these murders that are happening. And so it's interesting. I really like kind of the stuff that's happening in Batman's world right now. So that was a good one.
And Tom Taylor's running that, right?
No. So this one,
he's doing Batman the Detective Comics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's doing
Batman the Detective.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It shows you how kind of I'm not keeping up with DC very much these days.
Well, you know what? I always thought I was a DC guy, but I feel like I'm more of a Batman guy, and then I got a lot of Marvel titles.
You're DC's favorite kind of fan then. They just had to keep making Batman for you forever, and you know that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's like 10 titles out right now, Batman titles, Batman.
Not enough Batman content, I think. They probably need to pump out 3 or 4 more Batman-related titles. I don't know.
Yeah, apparently there's never enough. But... Okay, so then that brings it to my top 3, I think.
Top 3, let's hear it.
What's your number 3?
So number 3 is Black Cotton from Scout Comics.
Nice.
Yeah, this has been, you know what? I'm digging this series, and the thing about it is I feel like it has the potential to be really gimmicky and not really, not significant, kind of forgettable. It really could be, but I think that they're executing it really well. Like, it's fascinating. It keeps me interested because here's the thing. So if you don't know about this, it's a kind of role reversal situation where the premise of this is that black people are wealthy and at the top of society in America, and white people are, lower. And there's this black police officer who fires on an unarmed white woman. So so
societal role reversal,
basically.
Yeah. So it's and then on top of that, on the subject of black and white, it's done in black and white. The book, and so some of those things like that, you're like, oh, maybe it's going to be too on the nose, but it's really, really done well.
David Byrne's familiar with the title.
Oh,
saying
good. It's so this definitely makes my top 3, and it's been a cool story to see it develop, the kind of psychology of different things, and it kind of allows you to look at some of these sort of things that we see reoccurring, but kind of see them with fresh eyes because it is a role reversal, kind of different sort of situation. So I'm liking it. I'm along for the ride. It's been fun.
Awesome. Yeah.
And then
so what are we looking at? Number 2. Your number 2 pick of the week.
Number 2, I have Justice League Last Ride. So this is from Chip Zdarsky as well. And, and I really like this. It's sort of, I guess it's outside of continuity. It's kind of just a individual Justice League story. And this one is really making me feel like, man, they should let Zdarsky write the next Justice League movie. Bring him in. This feels like my Justice League. It just, and I'm not reading the current Justice League series, but, You're
not missing anything, Mason, because I'm about to drop that title and just get the trade of Justice League Dark.
Yeah.
And, I took a look at the interiors when I was at the shop the other day for Justice League: The Last Ride. Yeah. And wow, they're fantastic.
Yeah.
Really great artwork. So Mason, you're saying this is more like a classic take, a classic feel to the Justice League squad?
What I like is that the characters feel like the Justice League feel definitive and strong. Like you know who each person is. It's kind of maybe, and sometimes, and why it makes me think of writing a movie form is because that's true. They did leave out Aquaman, at least so far. Oh wait, no, he showed up in this one. But anyway, I won't spoil it. But they feel like, and when you get a movie, you know, when it's like you need to bring all these characters to the big screen or something like that, you need to see those long-standing character definitive traits, you know, that you understand. And so I loved Wonder Woman in this. There's a scene where, you know, they're on a plane and they're transferring their prisoner, who I won't spoil for you if you haven't read anything and you want to start this, but they're transferring a villain. And it just, you hear Wonder Woman's confidence, her intensity, her strength, and just the way that I know the character. And so I like that. Wally West is Flash in there, so I like that because, you know, sorry, but he's my Flash personally.
The best Flash. Same. Yeah. No argument from me there, buddy.
IMO. And Bruce is just brooding and just the pissed off Batman, and you know, and it's just cool. It's just, I just felt like I knew who everybody was, where they stood. So this was a strong one for me. Also, another thing I'm loving from Zdarsky.
I would say I might have to switch over then and try that if it's so much better. So
yeah, try it. It's like an 8-issue series, something like that.
Okay.
Dope. What would be your top pick of the week, Mason?
So my top pick of the week is, what was it? Oh yeah. So for this week is Joker. Joker from DC. Like I say, here's another Batman title. But I've been really liking this one. It's you know, I like what's going on in Batman's world right now, and Joker is outside of Gotham. It's kind of an unusual story, but it's really working, especially if you're a longtime Batman fan. And it's a lot about Jim Gordon. So Jim Gordon, the premise of this, he's out there, somebody's hired him to go take out the Joker, but after a recent attack on Arkham, which everyone attributes to the Joker, there's a lot of people after him. So there's this family who lost somebody in Arkham. There's Bane's, somebody connected to Bane, and you know, it's kind of a crazy but grounded in the psychology of Jim Gordon. And it's cool because, you know, I think, you know, if you've been a longtime follower of Batman, seeing everything that Jim's gone through the Killing Joke, especially, they touch on a lot, and things with Barbara, things with his son, you know, it's and how much he's wanted or should have killed the Joker. It's very fascinating. And there's this great scene where the Joker has kind of Jim hostage or is talking to him, and just the dynamic of their long-standing relationship, because Jim is like a different view of Bruce. You know, he's kind of like, okay, he's painted inside the lines and allowed Bruce to paint outside. And so anyway, just a really, really good story. A lot of depth to their long-standing relationship. So that's why I picked it. And I know we saw I will say, as one other side note here, is that I thought I saw David on here, and I thought Steak was going to come out this week. According to League of Comic Geeks, it was, but then I didn't get it at my shop. So I'm hearing that it didn't come out this week. But I think that that I was expecting that to be in my top 3, because that's been a sweet title. We'll talk about that more. Fire stuff.
Yeah. Shout out to David Byrne, who's in the live chats, the writer of Steak. Yeah, man,
welcome, David.
Yeah, we'll be touching on a little later on. So David is saying
printer delay. Okay, next week, guys.
Steak number 4 will be dropping, for those wondering. Looking forward to having that. And, thanks.
Printer delay. Thank you for stopping by to let us know, David. That's actually incredibly helpful.
Appreciate that.
Greatly anticipating it.
So Joker top book of the. So what we're saying is, guys, there's like amazing content out week after week, as usual. check out our recommendations. You can't go wrong. Before we move on, just wanted to give a quick shout out to Basilisk #2. The FOC is on Monday. We spoke about this. I believe it was last week, Lauren, or the week before. It was our copper drop.
Yeah, it was our copper drop. I won it, and we decided to keep it. Yeah, because we enjoy it so much. And this is the variant cover by Martin Simmons for Basilisk.
Martin Simmons.
It's not a cover, but it's a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous cover. So we wanted to share that one with you.
It's a stunner of a variant cover. Martin Simmons, the artist on Department of Truth. You can't go wrong with this. Basilisk, fantastic first issue. Definitely recommend it to everybody. So you want to make sure you hit up your shops, get this book ordered. It's gonna be a hot one.
Yes.
Diamond code is there for you guys if needed. So we've got it looks like Mason's back. You're back, buddy.
He's in and out.
Okay, he's in and out.
Sorry.
It's all good, man. So we got a little segment called The One That Got Away.
Yeah.
Basically, we're going to be talking about, I think this has happened with everybody. You, at the comic shop, you're debating whether to pick up a book or not. And then you end up, for whatever reason, not picking it up. And you have all kinds of regrets for whatever reason you may have. Maybe it turned out to be a really fantastic read, or it became super hot and the value. Or maybe it's simply the one that got away. Something that you've always wanted to have, and for whatever reason, just not able to add to your collection. So that's. Yeah, go ahead.
Speaking of that, Sergio, what's something that you've really, really wanted, or now you want, but you didn't get before? You're like, damn, I should have gotten that.
So, guys, I'm gonna tell you a little story. You guys all know about Something Is Killing the Children. Monster book doing crazy numbers. Those early issues, the value is it's insane and ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I came into Something Is Killing Children. I want to say around issue 2 or 3. So I missed the boat on #1. Actually, I ended up picking up. I was able to get the Jenny Frison variant for #1, which is a gorgeous cover in itself.
You're making Mason mad. Are you sure you don't want Power Rangers though? I mean, I think Dragon Ball's got a great point.
I'll get to Power Rangers at some point. So, and early on, we saw that that #1 issue is going to be like a hot seller. It was already up in value. So not long after, I had the opportunity to pick up a 1A, the first print A cover, this one here that you're looking at. And for whatever, I think my girlfriend was with me. So I found it on eBay. And it was only like about 50 or 60 bucks, and I wanted to pull the trigger. And for whatever reason, my girlfriend is telling me, why are you gonna drop like 50 or 60 bucks on a cover on a book, right? She didn't understand it, and I decided to listen to her.
Oh, Sergio, rookie mistake.
Rookie mistake.
Never listen to a non-collector.
Nope. Facts.
So I passed up on it, and if you guys don't know, a raw copy of this 1A is going for like $500 easy.
Yeah,
a raw copy.
It's ridiculous.
CGC slabbed 9.8. You're looking at $1,500
at least
value for this book here. So I passed up on the opportunity when it was available for 50, 60 bucks, whatever it was. Long story short, I regret the decision very much, and I never listen to the girlfriend again. When it comes to comics, forget it. In one ear, out the other. shortly thereafter, guys. So this is the one that got away from me. Absolutely regret not having it. And what do we got there, buddy? Are you about to?
You know,
Okay.
I just wanted to show you my copy of Something's Killing Children 1. I'm
Okay.
willing to sell it to you for $400. It's the new Comic Day foil cover, but it's available, and here's a chance for you to get it raw for less than $500 because you're my friend.
Look at Mason. What a good guy, and he's giving me a deal.
That's such a good deal. A discount of $100. You can't go wrong with that, Serge.
And I actually have that one, the foil edition. So I didn't pass up on that.
Okay, so you need two then? You need another one?
I'll get another one. Can never have enough something. And just to add a little bit to the story there. Shortly thereafter, we were at the comic shop, maybe a couple months later, and I happened to come across, Lauren, if you want to throw up that Department of Truth number 2, the 1 in 25 Romero cover.
Yeah, this color is brutal, man. It's
crazy,
ridiculous.
It's crazy. So, and we had another situation where my girlfriend was with me at the time at the comic shop, and I was, to be honest, kind of debating whether to pick it up or not. Not really. I was like, yeah, I want to grab this, and she's like, I'm not really feeling it. And it kind of clicked on my head. No, I'm gonna go with my gut. I picked it up, one because it's a sick cover, and then so now a raw copy of this is like at $250.
Wow. Which
I have. Slab 9.8 is something in like the 300-400 range. So, piece of advice, guys: do not take a non-collector's advice.
Don't do it.
Ever. Go with your guts. You don't want to be in a situation where you have one that got away.
Dig deep and tell her to wait in the car. You just gotta,
you gotta bite the bullet sometimes, and just go with the gut there.
You might get a couple lectures, you might have an argument or two, but you'll have this at least, and you can tell them, and however many years it takes, that was worth it.
That's it. Never again, guys. Never again. That is my story, Lauren. What is your one that got away?
So, I picked a couple things, and there's a reason for it because they're all like different levels for me. So I got into Philadelphia late. Philadelphia is one of my favorites, absolute favorites. I have every single cover except for this guy, number 1's Matina variant. It goes for a ridiculous amount of cash. It is impossible to find anybody selling it unless they're selling it for a ridiculous amount. And it's one of the best covers.
That's nice.
So I definitely missed out by getting to Philadelphia late, which sucks ass, but it's life. So that is definitely one that got away for me. And I have no clue if I'll ever get my hands on one for a decent price, but.
And that's a low print run. That's an exclusive, store exclusive.
Yep.
So
it's like 500 copies or something ridiculous.
I think something like 400 or 500.
It's so tiny. You got 500 people that have this, and you got 50 that want to sell it, maybe.
Yeah, and that actually that looks kind of familiar. I don't.
Sergio, you're trying to start the Civil War early today.
He pulled it. Oh man.
It kind of looks the same there.
Sergio, one day I'm going to come to your house.
You're cold as ice, bro. You're cold as ice.
Yeah.
He's out for me personally.
I love this Matina Philadelphia number 1 exclusive. Not for sale, guys. This is personal collection. Love it, love it, love it. So I don't understand that pain. I couldn't be me, Lord. I don't know.
Okay. I'm just like, okay, Dragon Ranger, if you got this for $38, if this is the issue you're talking about, I'm about to be really upset because there's no way you got this for $38. And if you did, man, good for you, because you won't find this for less than like $200 anywhere. Yeah. Maybe $100 something if you're real lucky. It's crazy, man.
Raw copies, yeah, I'd say probably in at least $150.
Yeah, and I'm not big on CGC graded comics. Like, there's
Mhm.
only, I will always take the raw copy over the CGC. So I had to pick my wording there carefully.
I got the upside down version apparently. I don't.
Yeah,
There you go.
there you go.
Yeah. So not too shabby. I don't understand your pain, but
another one I missed out on. This came out when I was younger. Young Avengers #1 of the original run. I was a fan of this as a kid. I can't remember if I collected this or not, because here's the thing. When I was younger and I collected, I ended up getting rid of a lot of my comics when I was younger. And I still have a lot of my Young Avengers comics, though. They're more beat up because I didn't take care of them as well, but I still have a lot of this run. I didn't have this, though, and I'm mad because the second they are in the MCU, which they are coming, we all know it, it's already gone off in price, and it's going to only continue to skyrocket. First appearance of Wiccan and Hulkling, I believe, Patriot, Iron Lad. You've also got the later issues in this series with the first appearance of Kate Bishop and Stature. It's only going to go up in value. And the first run is my favorite. I haven't even read the other run yet. I've read this one. It has a special place in my heart, and I hate that I didn't get this first issue, because it's pretty much the only one I'm missing out of the series.
I'll keep an eye out for you, Lauren.
Yeah, let me know, because it's definitely something I would enjoy having in my collection. And the last thing I wanted to mention, we all know I'm a huge Nightcrawler fan. I don't really have a one to go away in terms of that, because I've never had an opportunity to get his first appearance, which is Giant Size X-Men 1, which is insane. But I could have, based on when he was alive, had the opportunity to meet the person who was the main creator of him, which is Dave Cockrum. He passed in 2006, unfortunately. But he's the one that originally designed Nightcrawler, and he designed Nightcrawler as a character for DC, actually, and a lot different, a lot more of this kind of design, more hunched shoulders, actually more demonic. And then DC said, nope, we're not going to use him. So then he went to Marvel and Claremont, and they said they would take him, and they reimagined him. So I would have loved to meet Dave Cockrum.
Wow. Yeah.
So
look at that.
I hate that I never got a good opportunity to meet the dude while he was alive, because the conversations I could have had would have been just absolutely wonderful. So
I bet.
Nice.
Yeah, and I just, for those in the live chats, let us know what is the one that got away from you guys before we hit up Mason's pick. There we got Tom King's Strange Adventures is one that we've got there. So a lot of good books. Mason, what is your gem? What slipped through the cracks of your fingers, buddy?
Oh yeah, the one that got away. So so what is it? Guys have that, serial killers, and now comic book collectors. We all got the one that got away. For me, actually, and why I was kind of shaking my head a little earlier during Sergio's is the Jenny Frison variant on Something Is Killing the Children #1. So I was multiple times so close on pulling the trigger on this on eBay after the fact. I didn't get the first arc of Something Is Killing the Children, so I got started at the second arc. I have those floppies. Got the trade for, and it was even hard to get the trade of the first arc. Like, my shop put it down, I grabbed it, and that was like, it was gone, and everybody else is waiting another several weeks or month or whatever. So I mean, I was so close to getting this. It's just a beautiful cover. And okay, Dragon Ranger, you need to stop telling us how much you got these you're gonna make me cry, man.
He's just flexing on us at this point, man. Like,
we'll ship you our bucket of tears ASAP, Dragon Ranger.
You'll receive a package you can sign for. It's a bucket full of tears.
Man.
But this so yeah, I mean, it was at $50 when I was gonna get it, and my wife was not keen on the idea. I'm like, babe, the series is getting really hot. It's gonna be a Netflix series at some point, like everybody's been saying.
Again with the wives.
And not a collector, by the way.
Yeah,
she's read maybe one comic book that I showed to her. So I missed out on this one. Now I think you can find it for $100, raw or something. And so it's gone up 100% since I was thinking of snagging it.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous. I
Yeah.
happen to have two of these guys, and it's. I mean, I'm a sucker for a Jenny Frizen cover. I love all her stuff.
Yeah, I mean, this cover is this is probably my favorite cover I've ever seen of her. She's in a lot of our great stuff too, but there's something that's just so iconic about this one. Like, even without the speculation,
Oh, absolutely.
It's just so freaking strong.
Right?
Yeah, it's a bold cover. It's really sweet. And so I wish I had it. I would be displaying it somewhere here.
Sergio, you have 2 copies. You should give Mason a sweet deal too.
well, since Mason was willing to knock off a little bit off that that foil, I'm willing to knock off $2 or $3 off.
$2 or $3. He knocked off 100.
Wow.
I don't know about 100, but you know what's crazy is the trade. There's a variant trade of
that one sells for a lot of money too. What the hell?
Yeah. So
it's ridiculous.
Trades typically don't carry a lot of value. But the trade with this cover, which I have as well, is like 100 plus. So
yeah, it's literally just the art.
If you guys can pick up any of those early Something Is Killing the Children joints, I mean, do it. But just you're going to going up.
You literally can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong.
You can.
And
it's been such a solid series. I mean, everybody's in. I mean, and that's why people want to jump on this because they hear it's so good.
And it lives up to the hype. So I mean, it's great.
If anything, so they're just now in the new art getting into kind of a new things happening. So if anything, I could critique this series on is just that it felt like it lingered a little long in that one town, in that one world. Like I felt like maybe they could have trimmed a little bit, but well done. Great series. I think the best thing Tynion's putting out right now.
Yeah.
Batman's very different, but I think this would be his top title in my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay, and I had one more that got away. This one, actually kind of a silver lining on this one. So everybody was specking that and rumoring that what's his name? Omega Red was going to be in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I was on a live sale and I claimed it, but somebody must have slipped in and claimed it before me, right before I had to log off. I thought I had it coming my way, and turns out no. But hey, good thing though. He wasn't in there. I mean, I'd like to get this book eventually. I'm trying to collect this run of X-Men, but dodged a bullet. Wait till the price goes.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, with this, what I've seen when people sell it, there are people that will try to get every single penny out of these books. And there are also people that will sell it for like a pretty reasonable price, depending on the conditions. So, to me, these the beginning of this X-Men 90s run with Jim Lee and Claremont, it's not hard to get these books for a decent price. You just have to know who to get them from, because again, some people will sell it for every single penny. They'll sell it for the highest price they possibly can, whereas others are like, it's not that high right now in terms of speculation. So here's a decent price for it.
Yeah. The print circulation, the numbers on these books were so high that
there's so many of these, so many.
Very reasonable price. And then David is flexing on us. He's saying he got 80 covers of Something Is Killing the Children, 4 covers. So
damn,
hold on to those bad boys when the show is announced.
It's gonna be ridiculous seeing those go up, because they've gone up so much now.
I mean, they're nuts. And then one, so I was remembering while we were going through our ones that got away that we don't have a graphic for, but I thought I'd just mention is Clayton Crane was doing a special cover of a Wolverine that was like a homage to, had his claws with, I think you could see Hulk in the claws or something, had the crazy color background like this, his whole style. Man, I love Clayton Crane covers.
Sick. Yeah.
I got a
nice.
Gorgeous.
Nice.
And I hesitated for what must have been 20 seconds and it sold out immediately. I was there right when it went live. I'm like, yes, I'm going to do it. This is my day. This is
and then nope.
And wah. So I think that's happened twice to me, actually. I can't remember the other one, but one of these days I'm going to get a Clayton Crane.
The good news, Mason, is that David here says he might have an X-Men 4 for you. So hit him up after the show.
Yes.
Awesome. That's dope. The House of Nerd show. bringing collectors together. Collectors help collectors. I love it. I love it. Yeah, so I think the moral of the story is go with your guts and do not listen to your significant other.
Ask other comic
Um,
collectors to help you with decisions if you don't know. Don't ask your loved ones that don't know anything about comics. They're thinking about their best and their wallet, which is
disregard,
reasonable,
yeah,
but
exactly. We got some gems. Let us know on the socials what that one book that is that got away, that slipped through the cracks for you guys.
and what are we talking about again today, Sergio? What are we supposed to be discussing?
Yes. So we're here. Resurgence of Vampires in Comics, guys. Man,
Ooh,
man, vampires, they are hot. They're not going anywhere. They're
hmm
all over the comic book world. I mean, in media in general. But it seems to be these days, we got so many fantastic vampire books. Why are they so hot? Have they always been hot and cold? Why is the general audience loving these vampire books so much? Um, Mason, do you want to kick it off for us? What are you thinking? What is the reason uh, that vampires seem to, I'd say, making a comeback in the comic book world?
You know, I vampires are one of those things, along with like zombies and post-apocalyptic stories that just
hmm
always will come up. And
Yeah.
so I was excited to talk about this because there are some great vampire titles that I've been reading recently,
hmm
and it's so I mean, even though it's kind of like you can almost say it's overplayed, it's overdone or whatever, but when you get a good one where somebody's really like executed something that brought something new to the table, and really made you enjoy something that you feel like you've seen before, that's really cool. Where they can take you on a
Yeah.
ride even though you think you've seen this been on this ride before.
Mm.
So with titles like Philadelphia, with Steak has been really awesome lately. Also, what was it? Bleed Them Dry. I love that one.
Yep.
Um, so here I actually I've heard before that that I'm paraphrasing a bad memory, so forgive me if I'm inaccurate in my statement here, but I believe that when in times of economic downturn, actually vampire stories do really well. I'm not sure why that is.
Mm,
Or I've heard that before that it's kind of
that's
there's
funny.
a resurgence. So perhaps through the pandemic and things like that, vampire stories have just, I don't know, resonate more for some reason. I couldn't tell you why that is. But the other thing too is I've done some talk on my channel because I talk a lot about spiritual ideas, about religious ideas, and it's fascinating vampires for me personally and from my perspective, because if you think about it, the story of Christianity and a lot of religions is talking about the idea of the soul having a greater, more eternal capacity to it than just your body. So
Right.
you die, your body goes in the ground, but yet your soul, there's more to that. That is who you truly are.
hmm
So these vampire stories are interesting because it's the idea of eternity trapped within the capacity of one's own body. So it's,
hmm
the vampire lives eternally on Earth. This body just doesn't grow old. They keep, they even have to suck life force in the form of blood in order to keep themselves going. But so
Yeah.
I think that's interesting because the idea of heaven and things like that is that perfection. What is perfect in you, your body is not perfect. You're just a typical human. You're flawed. You're this or that. You're short. You're tall. You're fat. You're skinny. You're whatever. But this soul goes on to perfection, to be reunited. The perfect part of you gets reunited with perfection itself. But then when that eternity, when that idea is limited to your flawed human form, sometimes you see vampires with like perfect form. They're like supposed to be forever young and beautiful and stuff. But then you see a
Mhm.
lot of these problems like in Philadelphia that the characters are going through because they've been around so long and been stuck to this physical form and seen so many awful things. And, have had a hard time coping with being stuck to their physical form for so long. So I don't know. That's kind of a lot, and kind of some of the complexity within it. But I think it's I think it's I think it's just interesting, and I think when the story's engaging enough, people are really want to dive into something like this that is really interesting to look into.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting because Sergio, you're like, well, are they making a comeback? Did they ever go away though? I mean, I can't think in modern times at least, since like the 80s, 90s, when vampires truly went away. I think there are times that people are like, okay, the craze is dying down, but did it ever really? I mean, you have the Anne Rice books, which were huge, Interview with the Vampire, Lestat, and then, that died down after all, but then you had Twilight come back, and all of us that love vampires were like, oh god, Twilight's the bane of our existence because of how that vampire lore went, right? But then after that it kind of died out, and yeah, now we're starting to see more of a comeback in a way of, hey, we're bringing back, I mean, this how wasn't mentioned yet. I really love Vampire the Masquerade. That's probably, other than Philadelphia, and I do enjoy Steak a lot. That was more comedic. Vampire the Masquerade is probably my favorite vampire title in terms of really exploring the darkness, the weird intricacies, the politics of being a vampire. And it really goes more into the soul for me, in terms of what it's like to have, this soul you're stuck with for all eternity. Like you said, Mason, I feel like Vampire the Masquerade does the best job for me in terms of exploring that. Philadelphia is good at exploring it, but it takes on, it makes the vampires face their past humanity. I think Philadelphia is the best at, which makes that line unique and makes these vampires face their own humanity. Whereas Vampire Masquerade, even if they don't have humanity, it's something else. It's kind of like why I like the new X-Men Krakoan era so much, because they're mutants. They're not humans. We've associated so long with the X-Men as humans, but they're mutants, but they look very human. No, now it's a whole new thing where they're mutants. Here, the vampires are vampires. They have their own way of running society. They have their own way of running things. They have their reasons why they have to do these things.
Vampire the Masquerade is cool. With this book in particular, I love how it goes more into like the politics, the hierarchy of the vampire society. Something I think just what's so great about all the vampire books out now, whether it's Vampire the Masquerade, Stake, Philadelphia, American Vampire, Bleed Them Dry, they're all very different from each other.
And I think that's what's interesting too, is that all these are different takes. That's the thing that I think has made vampires everlasting in comics, not only just everlasting in their own fake worlds, but everlasting for us as readers, whether you like them or not. Yeah, you can tell their story in a gajillion different ways, and we're still finding new ways. Like Steak, again, is a more comedic way of telling the story, and it's also from the perspective of a slayer, as far as I know right now. Whereas, Philadelphia is from the historical perspective of American society, at least through, like former President John Adams, things like that. Also from the Black perspective with the protagonists in that. You also have Vampire the Masquerade, which is completely different. I mean, you can, if you don't completely hate vampires, you can find a vampire story you'll enjoy more than the others. You will find one that suits you. And I think that's really cool.
Just to go back to Mason, your point. So David is asking, do we also see the sucking of life force as a parallel to the wealthy sucking the life out of the less fortunate?
Oh, that makes me think of the Savage Shores, Surge, and the plot with the India Trading Company and such. And the perspective of the vampires in that one. Absolutely. I think vampires have the coolest perspective on like how we have economical and societal issues, because in a way they're above that, but they also are still have suffered because of these things, right? And they probably will continue to do so in many ways.
Yeah, there's interesting perspective. I saw that comment and I think about it. It's like, because a lot of times these vampires are like, they got castles, they got, they're almost like they're higher, and they look at humans as just food. So, and I mean, if you think about the wealthy, big corporations that a lot of times make decisions that are harmful to people in the pursuit of feeding their appetites, you could say. So, yeah, I mean, there's things like that where, but I think that we're talking about how different all these stories is, and somebody else mentioned about how those core ideas, Oscar was talking about how those core ideas, we know of vampires, and it is interesting to see what does one creator bring out. Like, what's your angle? What do you find interesting about these vampires? And it has been really cool to see, like, we was it Bleed Them Dry. I read that one, and it just was cool because it was like it was taking the whole sense of being a samurai, being a ninja, and like the honor and what went along with that, and tied it into this vampire world. And so it was interesting to see that being put in the encasing of the undying, and living for centuries, and then society changing, and where does that fit in now? So that was really fascinating to me, and just a great book. And then I saw that we have Francesca here now also.
Francesca's in the chat.
So let me tell you guys about Steak and what so Steak, though, we've been saying it's funny, it's well written, but this book, the paneling, the artwork, and the way that the story is told is so this one I've particularly read, and I'm not just saying this because they're on here. I'm glad they're here, but it just, the marriage of story and art in this is so, just to me, flawless. Like the execution, it's what makes comic books great. Just if you guys aren't reading Steak, you gotta read Steak. It's just the way it all comes together. Even the use of colors, that it's like, it's
I love that. I love just a little bit of splashes of color on the black and white.
I feel like in a way it is like the way a vampire might see the world sometimes, right? Especially like if they are just out for bloodlust, they're not seeing the color of anything else because they don't need to. They're just like, this is our world. So yeah, definitely interesting take there for sure.
And where the colors brought in, you've got like the vibrant reds of the blood, or the eyes, right? To be colored, the mirror into the soul.
And then you got the jewelry hanging around her chest that's got that blue, so it draws your attention almost to what is either, and it's a question of who could this be important to? Is this important to other vampires? Is this important, and how is it important for us as the reader? Like, it's incredibly interesting, those choices.
And it also this series manages to modernize and bring some modern day questions into what it would be like for vampires without it being gimmicky. Like, I think it's really, there's kind of a social media aspect to it. There's kind of just different there's a one vampire who's like kind of lived through many centuries and is now like living trans and doing different things, and it's just hearing from the characters and seeing the incorporation of a lot of things that for me are maybe new to seeing in a vampire story. I think it's just really cool. It's really interesting, and it doesn't feel forced.
Yeah, and I think I said this in our last episode last week, because we're talking about Nice House on the Lake, and in that issue they have social media incorporation as well. So for me, for whatever reason, I have a hard time with a heavy social media influence in a comic book. Like for example, Nice House on the Lake, it had that 2 double page of all the tweets, that the Twitter feed in that issue. Fantastic book. But that stuff throws me off personally. I'm weird about. In Steak, the social media stuff, I think it works better for me. It's still in there and it makes it modern realistic, but it's not the complete. It doesn't have big moments like that where it takes up 2 pages or whatever. They did a great job of incorporating that for someone like me who isn't the biggest fan of big social media splashes in my books, even though it's realistic and I understand the point of it artistically and such. They did a great job. So I just wanted to point that out. Like, if you're kind of put off by that stuff like I am in your comics, they do a great job with it and Stake it and making it work and making it still flow well with the comic. Because I think that was it for me for me, if you have a 2-pager like that of tweets, it kind of stops my flow of reading my comic, even though it's necessary. So
it can be cheesy unless it works. It's kind of like that meme with like Steve Buscemi with a skateboard and a hat backwards, and he's like, "Hey, fellow kids,
how do we do, fellow kids?" Yeah, I dig it. I mean, you don't normally see. I think just a lot of times with vampire tales, they tend to be historic pieces, right?
Yeah.
how often we don't see too often, vampires in a modern world, in the sense that, social media is so huge in every day, every facet of our lives. So to have that influence in the steak book is cool, man. It's like, vampires living in the real world, in this modern
Do you
world.
guys think vampires like have their own like TikTok, like by the clock or something, where they just like put out random videos like screwing with humans? Like even if they're not actually like hurting or killing humans, they just like prank us all the time.
Or
Like,
a
I'd be,
dating
I'd
app
be
called
That'd be
disappointed if
hilarious.
there
or
were
something.
not any vampire TikTok accounts out there.
Hey, if there are any vampires here, if there's a vampire TikTok, let me know, please.
You wouldn't be allowed on unless like you're down to be bit,
No, Mason, you don't understand. I am a vampire. I just am not connected to my community. I need to get connected.
Did you just come out as a vampire on this show?
I
That's
don't
huge.
hide it. It's kind of like on Lucifer. Lucifer tells everybody he's the devil, and nobody believes him. He's like, yeah, I came from hell. My dad's an asshole. God this, and everybody just laughs at him.
I'm sorry. I should have done my research before I came on the show, knowing that you were a vampire already.
um, yeah, so I mean, like one of the other things I wanted to kind of touch on why vampires might be so popular. I think with other horror genres or monster genres, vampires tend to be romanticized, sexy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something that potentially us humans, we can, maybe desire to become at times. You don't really have
Yeah.
that, or you can't have that with other monsters. Who wants to become a werewolf or a zombie, or
Who wants to be mindless and just walk around and not to worry about anything? That sounds great.
right, or a ghost, versus vampires. They're just sexy, they're cool, and that's how they they come with their whole, they're living eternal lives, and what comes with that. But I mean, I think they tend to be something that, even if most people don't admit, at one point or another, I've said, shit, I wouldn't mind being, a vampire. That seems
Yeah.
kind of, you can't really do that with other monsters or villains or anything like that, right? Right? I think maybe one of the many reasons, vampires resonate with audiences.
Yeah.
Right? And then there's just the
good.
inherent mystery behind.
I think even with stories where it's like, oh, like we see perspectives of vampires, right, in certain stories where, it's like it's hard and it's actually not that great having eternal life, because it's still such a mystery to us because we can't actually live it. We can logically understand that concept, but since we haven't lived it, we're still like, well, screw it, I'll still take it. Like, I need to find out for myself how much living for eternity does suck. Either way, I would still want to try it.
Same. I want to live until like the Back to the Future scenario comes. I want to see the flying cars and.
Well, but then you're going to have to watch all your loved ones die. No one you care about will be around. You have to, there's all these other themes that are explored and such. And, but yeah, I don't think vampires are going anywhere.
Yeah, I think that's what keeps it is like a staple in kind of this in storytelling is like, because that you put that question out there, vampires. What if there were vampires and you could live forever, but you had to suck people's blood? The people would die, and so it's like it's not just a far and away, like it's not like you said, hey, what if you could live forever and be beautiful and rich and like would that be cool? We'll call you a vampire. People be like, yeah, of course. But there's some like debate in the question. It's not just a given, so it's like, wow, it really makes you slow down and think, okay, what would I want to be a vampire? Would I be down? Would I bite my whole family and we'd all just stick around forever? Like, what would I do?
Count me in.
Yeah, I mean, well, and back to the sexy thing. I mean, now that you mentioned that kind of thing, Sergio, and then what you just said, Mason, I mean, vampires, again, are kind of above us in many ways, but they think differently than we do, right? I mean, vampires, they don't care who they sleep with. I mean, they don't care about terminology or boundaries, a lot of them, because they live for so long. What's a boundary?
Dude, what if you had STDs for like 500 years? I don't know.
Right. Or like they, Right, or they bit their sister and things got weird. I mean, it's creepy thinking about these concepts. Like, God, it's terrifying. And do you really want to go through that as yourself and have to deal with a situation like that? Like, Jesus, it's all fun and games until you are faced with something like that. Like,
And I think,
that would be another out of context segment for Sergio to host.
yeah, and I think, folks, that's where we'll wrap up the vampire discussion. A lot of fantastic vampire titles. Again, we're gonna shout out Philadelphia, Read Them Dry, Steak. Okay, great vampire story, fun.
Yep.
These Savage Shores. So many amazing titles. Highly recommend all of them. Check them out. Pick them up if you haven't.
Vampire the Masquerade, I have to say
Vampire
again,
the
because not
Masquerade.
enough people are reading it, and it's absolutely phenomenal.
And all those that we've mentioned, again, none of them are alike to the other. All bring something different. So check it out. Vampires are here to stay. And that concludes our resurgence in comics for vampires. I just want to give a quick shout out before we move on to the Teal Comic Book Club. We didn't have a chat this weekend, took the week off, but we're going to be back next week. I'm not sure what the book is going to.
I got you, Serge.
Oh, beautiful.
It's Blade Undead Again, Volume 1. So that is what is getting read.
Vampire Month.
Steve will be back next week. Steve will also be doing Teal Comic Book Club next week, reading that. So make sure you guys check in with them. The Discord is in the description of our video. So if you're not already in it, pop in. You can be as active or as not active as you want, but we really like you to be active and hang out. Definitely be more active than I am.
Teal Comic Club. Good time, guys. Copper Drop. Copper Drop, you guys know my favorite segment. I think a lot of people's favorite segment, hopefully. Last week, we voted to read OBE. Now, initially, we were planning to read issue number 2, which was supposed to drop this week, but there has been delay in issue number 2. Not exactly sure when it's coming out yet. Keep your eyes peeled. As soon as we know, we're going to let you guys know, firm up the date for you. So, what we read was issue number 1 of Out of Body Experience. Dropped, I believe, 2 or 3 weeks ago, so it's still fairly new. I gave a review at the time. You guys know I'm absolutely digging this series so far. Mason, Lauren, can you give us your thoughts? What did you guys think? I guess we'll kick it off with you, Mason.
Yeah, so I was glad that you recommended this and I got to read it. It's a really cool title that just I did not know about. When he brought it up, I thought he was talking about Out of Body from Aftershock.
Yep. Don't mix them up, y'all.
Which I did pick up, and this is very different than Out of Body from Aftershock. This OBE is the first thing I read from Antarctic Press, I think. And and it was a cool title. I mean, I just haven't had a chance to read anything from them, and so just the feel of it, the vibe of it is very much like kind of futuristic detective sort of thing, kind of like a Blade Runner or like what's that series with Joel Kinnaman that was on Netflix?
Yeah.
Where
I know what you're talking about. It's on the tip of my tongue.
People go in different sleeves, go in different bodies.
Yes, man. If anybody knows, drop it in the comments. I can see the similarity there. Yeah.
Yeah, so it definitely has that futuristic detective kind of feel. Altered Carbon, yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Altered Carbon. There you go.
Yeah, and what do they call that? Steampunk or something?
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk. Yeah.
Cyberpunk. Yeah.
You were close.
Yeah, some kind of punk. So the punks are in the future, right? And they're getting out of their bodies. And so, but yeah, I definitely dug this. I feel like it really whereas, you hear Out of Body and you think of like the other Out of Body from I keep bringing that up, but just to kind of contrast, that one felt a little more slow, a little more, it's more about like drug tripping and like, you know, these out of body experiences. And then this one, which felt a lot more like sharp, a lot more like kind of science fiction-y, and a lot more detailed. And so there's this whole world that they created, and I like that I felt like I was really pulled into this world of this detective, and like where there's all this new stuff that I need to learn, but it was fun to learn, you know, as you get pulled into the issue. So I'm digging it. I mean, I really enjoyed this title. I'm super glad I got to read it, and another book I gotta pull, I guess.
How great is the world building? You know what I mean? I love when stories can kind of, when books can create this whole universe, and it's just done in a way that, you know, you get into like the technology and how did all these people become addicted to OBing. So that's great stuff.
I thought it was interesting, Mason. So the part that you talked about with the Aftershock book, that you're kind of like, yeah, focus a lot on this. That wasn't for you. I'm the opposite, actually. I love the focus on the drug and what it does to people psychologically and sociologically. I'm the kind of reader, I live for that stuff. The parts that really got me were when like the detective was doing his thing, and, you know, he has an out-of-body experience and stuff, and seeing that even somebody, you know, it kind of had that feeling of like a Jim Gordon type feel, where even though you're like, oh, this is supposed to be the good guy I'm rooting for, he's screwed up. He's making weird decisions too, not necessarily wrong ones, but weird ones, questionable ones. And that to me is what fascinated me. To me, I wasn't really digging the detective stuff, but that's not me trying to hark on the book. It just, that stuff I was less interested in, because for me personally, I think if I've had enough of like all the, oh, who did this detective stuff, I care about the drug and how that's coming out and why it's a thing and why that's important. Because that reminded me of Far Sector from DC Comics on their other imprint. I can't remember what it's called. If anybody's reading Far Sector, if you can remind me what other print they have of that.
So Lauren, you're digging more. You'd like to see more of maybe the psychological aspects of OBing versus, because this is it's a crime mystery story, right? You know.
Yeah, and I mean,
style, so
thank you, Ruben. Yeah, Young Animal. Far Sector is on DC's Young Animal print. And that one, I love that line because it has all the superhero elements you'd want a Green Lantern run with Joe. But it also explores the psychological reasons why people don't want to feel things. So Far Sector explores where Joe goes on this planet as Green Lantern. She's supposed to be helping these people get their planet together and all that. But all these people have, I can't remember what they're called, but these things in their head, you know, that basically make them not feel and things like that. If I'm remembering correctly, it's been a while since I've read the earlier issues, but it's fascinating to see how people react without emotion, and then how people want to be able to feel emotion again, right? Like we're all like, oh, we don't want to feel, you know, like that's a joke on the internet of the darker humor, right? Of like, oh, feeling's terrible and blah, blah, blah. But like, what if we really couldn't feel? We want to get the highs we get and stuff. And so I love exploring these psychological concepts. And so when you mentioned the other out of body, Mason, and you're talking about how the focus is more on that, I'm interested to read that because I haven't read that yet and see if that's more up my personal alley. Just because, yeah, I love the psychological stuff, but this is a good world builder. This is a great cyberpunk issue. I think if you're really into cyberpunk and detective and crime and what's going on in the alleys and the future, this is definitely the read. Absolutely.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because for me, now I think about it, the Aftershocks out of body is like definitely like, I'm like, oh, this would be good to talk about for my channel and hold the old idea of like one's like soul kind of floating and or their consciousness or whatever. But then this book, OBE, just really entertains the fan side of me. Like I just thought it was fun, and I was really just digging the way it was put together. So yeah.
So what do you think, Mason? It sounds like you're gonna keep copying this.
No, I'm gonna drop it. It's terrible. But yeah, as you may have suspected, I'm gonna cop this.
Cool, Lauren. What are you thinking? Is this a book you're gonna add to your pull list?
So I'm torn because again, I don't think the detective side of things is for me. Um, so I don't think I'll add this to my personal cop list, not because I think it's a bad book or that it isn't good, but because I don't think it's taking the approach I would like to see. I'm going to try the other Out of Body from Aftershock just to see, because of what Mason said about it might take more of the psychological approach. I'm going to check that out and see if that's more up my alley. I'm going to drop this, but I don't want anybody to think that in this case I'm saying it's terrible. Don't get it. If you're into cyberpunk and you like the crime stuff and all that, please keep getting this, especially because they're a smaller publisher and Arctic Press. It's important we continue supporting indie books, especially ones that we do like. So I'm going to say a personal drop for me, but other people, if you're enjoying it, please continue copying it.
Cool.
Yeah, and on that other one too, I mean, I know we're talking about this book, but I keep talking about the other one. But the Aftershock one, you know, it's one of the Miranda brothers is doing the artwork on there, and it's really cool, really colorful, really just visually neat, you know. So that's another, you know, thing to maybe check out that other one too. But I definitely endorse this one here, OBE, Out of Body Experience.
And Sergio, I'm assuming it's still a cop from you.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, I'm loving the book. OBE, guys, go out and pick this up, add it to your pull list. And you know how Copper Drop works on the House of Nerds show.
Yep, majority rules. I support it.
So, House of Nerd recommendation. Pick up OBE. It is, yeah, man. It's a thumbs up. Dig in the art, dig in the world building. I personally, yeah, I love the whole murder mystery, the crime noir side of the story, and then also too, you know, as an added bonus, you got copious drug use throughout the book.
So for this week on Copper Drop, for next week, so since we have Mason as a guest, we thought it would be fun to let Mason pick what we're reading next week. So Sergio and I are gonna pitch to Mason, and he's gonna pick for us. So you know, we might set this as a precedent for future guest hosts, guys. Maybe you guys could have a chance to pick one day if we ever get to have any of you guys on, especially our people that are always watching. Sergio, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. So my pick, guys. No, I'm not reading a lot of Big Two, but I'm going with Chapter 1, Issue number 1. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow.
Sergio, you know I can't say no to this.
Hey,
oh man, what's going? Is that Lauren's pick that you're reading for her? What's happening?
Right, you would think.
Damn it, sir.
So I'm going through this week's upcoming number ones, and I for sure thought Lauren would have picked this. She went a different route, so I said, I'm going for it. You know,
so upset.
King is writing this book. He's a fantastic writer, and he seems to fare a lot better on like these out of continuity, these minis or the maxis, right? Rather than ongoing series. So I'm looking forward to this.
So Sergio, are you gonna pick this up whether or not it's picked for Copper Drop? Like, if it's not picked, will you still pick this book up?
Yeah, you know what? At least issue number 1, just because I'm very interested to see his take on Supergirl. The last Supergirl stuff I read was the Bendis related. Nope. Which, to be honest, I wasn't. It was all right. It wasn't like I wasn't feeling it like crazy.
Yeah.
But in any case, I'm looking forward to reading this. This is my pick for Copper Drop. Mason, I feel like you can't go wrong with this one. It's Tom King.
But Tom King's hit or miss. I really want this to be good because it's my girl, and she needs her own ongoing again, because especially after, you know, with DC randomly, you know, with COVID, the excuse of they put her digital first at the end of her last ongoing series, and then they canceled it without any reasoning or even announcing it. It was just dropped, which pissed me off because, you know, if you cancel Superman or anything else, you're going to announce it at least. You don't have to give a reason, but you'll say it's canceled. They even announced her last ongoing was canceled. So that's my
pick. Lauren, what do you have?
Yeah, so, regardless, I'm picking this up. It sounds like Sturger is. So it sounds like we don't need to pick this for Copper Drop to read it. What we do need to pick to read is Compass #1 from Image Comics. Now, Mason, I picked this especially for you, and I'm going to read to you the synopsis because I read it and said this is something Mason would talk about on his channel.
Okay.
It's from Greg Rucka, and I'm going to butcher this name. So the synopsis is, Shahida El Amin is many things: scholar, cartographer, astronomer, mathematician, scientist, explorer, adventurer, and, when need be, a two-fisted fighter. Setting out on Baghdad's legendary House of Wisdom during the Islamic Golden Age, Shahi's quest brings her to 13th century Britain, where the Welsh are whispered to possess the secret of eternal life, eternal truths, but Shahi is not the only one after it. Reteaming from the pages of the Old Guard, all these different people take on a breathless race, follow the compass to unlock the secrets of the ancient world. Mason, you have to read this.
I got
Okay,
it. That is, go for it, Mason.
We got two options here.
Yeah.
One of them, Supergirl, kind of a more, your superhero type story.
Yeah.
Tom King, I mean, could be interesting. I'm not a big Supergirl person, not in a while anyway. Then we got Compass, a whole new world and searching for eternal life. Well, I'll tell you what.
Chat, if you want to help him out, you can help him out.
Yeah. What is the live audience thinking? I mean,
and so
or Supergirl.
Is not always a given too, because I feel like I'm really impatient with kind of these new world kind of titles. Like, I'm like, oh man, do I really want to invest and get into this? Sometimes it might be good for the channel, but it's not always a given, because I was reading Knights of the Golden Sun from Mad Cave, and that was straight biblical, like angels, demons, Lucifer, and all kinds of stuff. And I had to drop it because I just wasn't feeling it. But so if I had to be honest, and what I'm picking for you guys for next week, I would have to go with Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. That would be my choice of the two.
I'm not even mad. This is a loss I will take happily. We are reading My Girl Kara Zor-El. Let's go.
Yeah, and we got a lot of love in the audience for Supergirl. So
everybody appreciate her because yes, she is the rightful leader of the House of El, not Cal. I will die on that hill. Next question.
Oh, that's that'd cool, be a good discussion.
Mason, you made the right choice, man. Thank you.
I think so too, honestly.
Yeah. looking forward to reading some Tom King. Supergirl. I have a feeling, the comic book world there's gonna be a lot of discourse on this book. I
hope it's good discourse because, again, Tom King is very hit or miss. People either really, really like his stuff or they really, really hate it. But also he's writing Supergirl, and so there are a lot of fans will be like, oh, but this is decent, and then a lot of us that actually really like her as a character might be a little harsher on our critique, I'm afraid of. So it's going to be very interesting, but I'm very excited. If you're able to pick up both covers, I'm going to, even though I'm nervous about Tom King writing it, because I want DC to know we want more Supergirl. Please give her own ongoing.
For sure.
I'm down.
So it should be good. And then Mason, I hope you read along with us, and you can share your thoughts. We'll do something on the socials, man.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do a comics and crosses and House of Nerd collab.
Maybe we'll have our first cameo on an episode. You never know, guys. You don't know.
Right. So that's it, guys. We're reading Supergirl next week. Now, before we get out of here, we did want to announce our next guest, Lauren. Would you like to do the honors? Or?
Sure. So those of you that stuck around this long, be very glad you did, because you're going to hear first who we're having on next week. I think everybody that watched our show is going to be excited because we've talked a lot about the main book this person is on right now. So, we've had Ram V before. Ram V's wrote a gajillion things and will continue to do so. But Ram V also writes a book called Layla Star. The third one comes out next Wednesday. And we thought, we want to make sure we support other people in the book that make it so great. So we're having Felipe Andrade. I hope I said that right. I probably butchered it. On next week. So Felipe is wanting to come on and being so generous to us. So next Saturday at 11, Felipe,
Sunday.
The artist on Layla Star, will be here. Felipe has also done 1,000 other things, including a bunch of stuff for Marvel. But we're most excited because you know us. We're huge fans of Layla Star.
Yeah, absolutely. Layla Star, to me, absolutely one of the best books out right now. I'm very excited to have Felipe on the show and discuss his beautiful artwork. Another dope guest. We hope you guys are enjoying the creators we're bringing on. We're trying to do something a little bit different.
I love raw comics here. That's how I felt when Felipe was like, "Yeah, I'll come on." I was like, "What?"
Yeah, man.
Very excited.
We're all hype, man. We're all hype. Next Sunday, live at 11. You know the time. Same bat channel, same bat time, right? So hype for that one, guys. Please join us. And as
You're
always,
welcome, Joe. We're doing our job then.
I love it, man. Yeah, Layla Star, guys. We're gonna be talking about it throughout the week. If you're not reading it already, that is like a must cop required reading. Very, very good. I mentioned to Mason and Lauren before we went to air. Issue 2 of Layla Star, I have a feeling, will be in contention for best single issue
unless Ram and Felipe beat themselves out with the next 2 issues.
Exactly. Yeah.
We got 2 more issues to get through with them. So
is it only 4? I thought it was 5.
No, 3. I'm sorry. Yeah, issue 3 comes out next week. Yep. Yeah. So 3 more.
Awesome. So we're looking forward to that, guys. And if you're enjoying the content that we're bringing, please like the video, hit that subscribe button, and as Lauren always says, hit that little bell thingy for notifications. One
day I'm gonna play the disco song "Ring My Bell" when we say that. One day.
That's a good idea.
I'm all for it. Do it up, man. Yeah, we got to do it. So that's our show for today. Mason, just want to give you a big thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mason.
That was us, man. It was awesome. You're awesome, buddy.
Everybody give Mason a shout out. He has a busy life, but he's taking the time to come bother us again. We love having you. Hopefully we can snag you again, Mason.
Yeah, thank you, guys. This was so much fun. I just really dug being here. And, I'm always honorary with you in spirit member of the crew.
I love it.
I love talking comics with you guys.
Thank you, man. Much appreciated.
And Mason, where can we find you, Mason?
Yeah, so look me up here on YouTube. Look for Comics and Crosses. That's the channel. And then on Instagram, I'm there too, at Comics and Crosses. And on Twitter, I believe I'm at Comics N Crosses because they give you less characters. But you'll find me. Look for my symbol, white circle with a cross on it, seeing a cross. And I'm trying to just do live stuff and come on, talk about books, talk about my perspective on things. And so I'd love to have you all hanging around and enjoying some sweet stuff with me.
Definitely some great content on Comics and Crosses channel. Check it out, guys. Lauren, where can the fine folks find you at?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at friendlymvhdbi, and I'm on Instagram at friendlyneighborhoodbi. BIBI, so that's 3 buys. And yeah, bother me. I write reviews for the Wednesday poll list. I'm trying to think of more content to bring you guys as well. And keep an eye out because, again, if Steve and I can get together, our great host from the Hellfire Gal video, we'll probably be putting out another one of those out for you guys by Monday or Tuesday. Might be Wednesday, depending, but we hope to have that out for you guys.
For sure. That's awesome. And you guys know where to find me. Insert name INC on Twitter. Insert name comics on Instagram. I'm always happy to help connect good books to good people. So if you're after any comic books, whether it's back issues, new releases, please feel free to hit me up. Also taking pull list requests for all you fine folks. And yeah, home number 3 is coming out this week.
Pick it up.
Definitely pick it up.
Thank you for the reminder in the chat, Ruben and Dragon Ranger. Please pick up home number 3. We had Julio Anta a couple episodes ago on our show. He is an utter delight. The book is fantastic. If you don't know what cover to get both. I don't know what else to tell you. Pick it up.
Home number 3, it's top tier. And that's our show, guys, man. Again, Mason, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thank everybody in the live chats for making the show live. And before we get out of here, happy 2-year anniversary of the Raptors winning that championship.
Not to cut you off.
Have a great Sunday, guys. We'll see you
Warriors.
next week. Thank you so much.